When users can't log in, search, or complete a checkout, you are already in incident response mode. And the worst way to hear about a failure is from a user report or a spike in your social media complaints. DevOps teams, we need to detect broken workflows before real traffic hits them. Synthetic monitoring gives you a proactive signal by continuously testing critical paths like login, search, checkout, and APIs, so that you can catch regressions or configuration issues or dependency failures long before they reach production telemetry. And in today's video, we're going to break down what synthetic monitoring is, why it's essential for maintaining reliable releases, and when to use it as part of your DevOps toolkit. Let's get started. All right, what is synthetic monitoring? It is a proactive way to monitor digital experiences by simulating user actions and measuring what happens. It basically runs scripted tests like loading a page, calling an API, or completing a key journey on a schedule or on demand from one or many locations to help operations identify issues before real users are impacted. Why should teams use synthetic monitoring? Because the "we'll know when traffic hits" will happen too late. Synthetic monitoring can help you to proactively identify these issues. You can get alerted when your site, your service, your region is unavailable. You can catch failures in critical flows like your login, your search, your checkout before they appear in production logs or user-reported incidents. Also, it can help shift left the entire testing process. Synthetic monitoring tools enable integration of synthetic tests into your CI/CD pipeline by reusing the same tests that run in production. This ensures consistency between pre-deployment validation and real-world monitoring. By using the same test definitions, you eliminate those gaps in test coverage and avoid false confidence caused by mismatched test conditions. This approach helps catch regressions, broken dependencies, and performance degradation before changes reach production. To implement this, your CI/CD tool invokes the runs, the defined tests, and continues deployment only if all tests pass. Next, its synthetic monitoring defines your availability and latency baselines to monitor system performance and ensure that reliability. You can better prepare for launches in new markets by certifying that availability and performance are well within your acceptable parameters. When you don't have real traffic yet, these synthetic tests validate the experience from those geographies. And finally, it can help you meet your own performance goals. Use synthetic monitoring tests to validate your service level objectives, or SLOs, and performance thresholds. So we've talked about why, but how does synthetic monitoring actually help you solve specific use cases? I'm going to put it into 3 buckets for you. The first is your uptime or availability. These checks include your basic "is it reachable" test, your latency, your DNS resolution time and records, and your SSL certificate validity. Second bucket are your API checks. Synthetic monitoring can call key endpoints, validate status codes and response times, and assert important fields in the payload. Number 3, your transaction or journey checks. This is the closest thing to a real experience. These tests catch partial availability or degraded functional pathways to hopefully prevent the "it's up, but it's unusable." So we've talked about why and how, but what should you set alerts on while you're performing synthetic monitoring? It's important to note that alerting should be meaningful, not just noisy. So here's 5 alerts to start with. The first, availability failures, because when you have repeated failures, those are more of a signal than a single blip. Second is your latency threshold. You want to be alerted when response time crosses a limit that you've deemed too long or long enough to matter. Number 3 is your functional assertions. An example of this would be, "Hey, login succeeded, but the dashboard never loads." That's a functional failure. Number 4, your dependency checks. If a third-party API is slow, synthetic monitoring can help detect it before your users do. And finally, one that's often overlooked but highly recommended is your security and trust signals, certificate expiration, and DNS correctness and response time. So how can you successfully roll out synthetic monitoring? It doesn't need to be a complex rollout to begin. Start by defining 3 to 5 of your most critical workflows. Then you're going to add in your availability checks for your domains and APIs. Then you'll layer in full journey tests, mostly from the regions that matter most to your company. Over time, you're going to integrate these tests into your whole CI/CD pipeline in order to catch issues before deployment. What's the takeaway? Synthetic monitoring helps teams to detect outages, measure performance across regions, and reduce the risk of deploying a broken or non-performant release. It becomes your proactive safeguard for system reliability, user experience, and security signals like DNS and certificates. That's synthetic monitoring in a nutshell. Proactive, repeatable, and built for fast-moving systems.